Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. Boxing, you find a way to win, or you find a way to lose. Or, like some people say, not my opinion, you can find a way to abuse your get-out-of-jail-free card like Terence Crawford. Now, if you listen to some of these boxing fans, they'll tell you that Terence Crawford basically should be showing Earl Spence a whole lot of appreciation and gratitude for Earl Spence making Terence Crawford relevant. To that I say that I kind of request in the most respectful way that you hold your horses and stop taking it to the stupid. Now let's understand something, man. Look, Crawford was relevant before he fought Spence, but I'm not going to act like Crawford's profile didn't grow exponentially by fighting Earl Spence and getting the win. You got to understand, for those of you who are thinking Crawford is abusing this get-out-of-jail-free card, you got to understand, Crawford was already an undisputed champion, snatched that WBO belt off of Jeff Horn, and fought everyone who was put in front of him. Yeah, I get it. Maybe he didn't fight all the people we'd like him to fight, but you know, behind the scenes, things get complicated. But whether you want to fight someone and the label's blocking it, or you want to fight someone and somebody outprices themselves, it's just not that easy to make fights. But what I will say is this. For what Crawford had in front of him, he did a good job. But when he fought Earl Spence, this is what some people feel happened. They feel like, you know what? Crawford wouldn't be getting this attention. Nobody would care if he was at them goddamn porno awards. Out there, man, his little freaky ass out there in the porn awards, man, trying to get jiggy with it and shit. Nobody would care. But because he beat Earl Spence, everybody wants to know Crawford's at the porn awards. Crawford shows up to a weigh-in. Crawford ends up on vacation. Crawford plays basketball. Crawford plays football. Crawford can shoot a three-pointer. Crawford can play quarterback. Crawford can juggle tangerines. Crawford can, Jesus Christ, man. Terence Crawford come like Chuck Norris now. Matter of fact, someone said Crawford doesn't do push-ups. He pushes the earth down. Now to that I say, hold your horses and stop taking to the stupid. Now, one thing I will say is, as far as Terence Crawford, look, I get it. And I think Terence Crawford gets it. There are a lot of fans that say, hey, no matter what, give Spence the rematch. And I think that's what's going to happen, but we don't know. But they're like, figure it out at 154. Because Spence went against everyone who was advising him. He went against him and gave you an opportunity. If it wasn't for Spence, it wouldn't have happened because nobody was looking out for Crawford's best interest. Spence did him a solid. And I have to agree with it. But they say now, Crawford, just because you beat Earl Spence and you became undisputed at 147, don't act like you're the best at 147. And don't act like you just use that Spence win as a get-out-of-jail-free card. And when it comes to fighting guys like Boot Sinners, maybe going and fighting Jamel Charlo, fighting, Tim Tszyu, or Danny Garcia, Virgil Ortiz, Keith Thurman. That get-out-of-jail-free card don't mean that you can just avoid stiff competition, because the reality of the situation is all those names I just mentioned would have probably kicked Earl Spence's ass on that night. Okay? Now that I tend to agree with. So, with Terence Crawford and his get-out-of-jail-free card, I understand how some people are saying, shit, Crawford's like, I don't have to go out here and fight these lions. I'm on my way out the door. Let me cherry pick a few fights, even though Canelo's not a cherry pick. But what I mean by cherry pick is getting the fights where he can make the most money. Now, I do agree with that to a certain extent. I just feel Crawford believes he can win those fights as well as he can make the most money. So is it a cherry pick as far as picking a fighter where he can make a whole lot of money? Yes. Is it a cherry pick because he feels it's an easy fight? Hell no. Is he using the get-out-of-jail-free card to avoid stiff competition? I don't know if I agree with that. I think he's using that win as a golden ticket that he wants to cash in. And one thing I will tell you is when it comes to boots, Jermell Charlo, who knows what that guy is doing now? I kind of still feel bad for him and his brother, but that's a whole other conversation. But when it comes to boots, when it comes to Charlo, when it comes to Tim Tszyu, Danny Garcia, Thurman, Virgil Ortiz, I think Crawford would have no problem cashing out the golden ticket with one of them if there was real money behind them. The only one of those names that I think there could be some money behind is Tim Tszyu. That's if they try and do things, outside of Saudi Arabia. Down in Australia, I think there's huge money for that fight. But who's the A side there? You know what I'm saying? Crawford would be challenging Tim Tszyu, basically. So who's the A side? So again, for Terence Crawford and this whole thing about the get out of jail free card, I'm going to tell you right now, I think Crawford has nowhere to go. I think he's in a horrible position. And for those of you out there, screw you, head champion. Terence Crawford is a two-time undisputed. How can he be in a horrible position? Because he don't really have nobody to goddamn fight. And the people who's there to fight, he don't want to fight them because he wants big money fights. Ain't no big money fights out there for him. Canelo. I already did a video on this shit. There's nothing there for him. Ain't no huge money, not what he wants. And the reality is he may never get a payday like what he got when he fought Spence. Never. That's what I said. Spence made him rich. I had one person to comment, Terence Crawford was already rich, hood champion. You don't know what you're talking about. Yo, McNicholas, I know that. This man been fighting for how many years? Was a champion for how long? You know Crawford been making millions of dollars. But when I say Earl Spence made him rich, I'm talking about that goddamn payday. What Terence Crawford probably took his whole career to make, he got that shit in one night fighting Earl Spence. And he wants more paydays like that. But he's not going to get those paydays unless he can get somebody over in Saudi Arabia. Fighting Boots, Charlo, Tim Tszyu, Danny Garcia, Thurman, and Virgil Ortiz. First of all, Virgil Ortiz, Crawford gets no credit for beating him. But Virgil Ortiz, it's over for him. He needs to retire. I don't think Virgil Ortiz will ever look like the guy who fought Mean Machine and beat the shit out of Hooker. I just think Virgil Ortiz, he was that guy I felt could beat all those guys. I said, Virgil Ortiz, he's a problem. He may beat them all. But he's not there no more. Crawford should avoid him. Because Virgil Ortiz ain't there, man. He's some health issues and shit. Why would you, as a fight fan, want Crawford to go in there and basically fight be in a Kell Brook situation? Why you want to put him in there with a guy like that? Kell Brook, two health issues with his eye. One eye, left eye, right eye. Virgil Ortiz, 2 different instances with his rhabdomyolysis. So why you want to put Crawford in there with him, all right? Hold your horses, quit taking to the stupid. Keith Thurman, too many years of inactivity. But that's a good fight and there may be some money right there. So that's not too bad of an idea, but still. If Thurman happens to beat Tim Tszyu, then yeah, I can see it. But if he loses to Tim Tszyu, just leave Thurman alone. Danny Garcia is like Terence Crawford. Danny Garcia is out here looking to cash in a golden ticket. But I just don't think no money's there. I already said Tim Tszyu in Australia could be some big money. Jermell Charlo, I just don't know what's going on with that guy no more. And Boots, I still think Boots is a good fight. But that being said, for you fight fans out there who are saying, Crawford abusing the get out of jail free card, he ain't trying to fight anybody. It's going to be stiff competition. He wants to cherry pick the big fights. Although he thinks he can win, he's looking to get the most money possible. And you know what? That's what he should do. At this point in his career, he should do that. But I just don't think he's afraid to fight anybody. But I do believe if those guys brought big money to the table, I think he'd get in there and scrap with them. But that being said, hey, for those of you who are saying, screw you, head champion, Terence Crawford is a cherry picker. He's scared to fight in the tough competition. To that I say, to you subscriber, screw you in the breeze.